Hello, respectful female fellows. Hope you had enjoyed being with us during our first station of qualitative research. I'm Dr. Raja Tamim. On behalf of Qualitative Data Analysis ML Web Group, we are honored to take you to our next station of this module, Qualitative Data Analysis. The objectives of this presentation are to understand what is meant by qualitative data analysis. Also, we'll have an overview about how to approach and the main methods to conduct the data. And we'll have an outline of the steps of conducting your data analysis. And at the end, we will have an overview about how to evaluate validity of your data. So what is qualitative data? As we know that qualitative data is the research or the data that is concerned with non-numerical information which has been collected from either people words or other sources like pictures, audios, videos, or any documentary resources. What is qualitative data analysis? The main goal of qualitative data analysis is reducing but not losing the large amount of collected raw data into meaningful knowledge and information that will be translated later into logical themes and patterns in line with the research question. And there are two approaches to qualitative data analysis, the inductive approach and the deductive approach. In the inductive approach, which is the main approach in qualitative data analysis, the researcher generates themes and categories from his data that are in line with his research question. The researcher in this approach should be creative and open-minded and may not to stick to a predefined ideas or theories. The deductive approach is rarely used in qualitative data analysis, and it is the main approach for quantitative data analysis. In this approach, the researcher begins with a predefined hypothesis, and at the last he is going to test his theory. As qualitative data is usually collected from real-world situations to provide an in-depth explanation or exploration of a problem or a phenomena in its natural context, so the analysis of the data is said to be an art, and it is a dynamic, flexible process, but within a well-structured developed methodology. Analysis of the data starts the moment you collect your first sample, and you may need to go back and frost in your data. You can visit again your questions and you can visit again your sample size to make sure that your findings are in line with research questions. This flexibility is one of the strength points in qualitative research. Qualitative data analysis involves four main important points, which are creativity, subjectivity, transparency, and credibility. Qualitative data is not a one-size-fits-all, so you need to be creative and to think outside the box. Your task is to summarize and present the data given to you by participants in a meaningful way. This is why you need to be creative. The other point, which is the subjectivity, researcher is the main collecting instrument, if we can say. So his past history and experiences are major issues that may intervene or interfere with the analysis, and this should be addressed carefully to avoid any bias. And the other things that you should be very transparent and you show your audience exactly how you arrived to your results and explains all methods and steps you followed during your collections of the data and during your analysis. And you have to establish credibility to your data or to your finding. And this is done by prolonged engagement in your analysis, and you should be a very meticulous observer, you should use other methods for evaluation, or you have to triangulate, and you can obtain participant feedback after the check of the transcripts that you made, or even you can obtain feedback from other members in your team. There are two strategies to approach qualitative data analysis. The first strategy is the research method-based analysis, whereby analysis method is consistent with the research method. Example, if your research design or method is grounded theory, then you will use grounded theory analysis. The second strategy or approach is the general or generic strategy, and in this type of analysis, you will use the general approach to analyze your data irrespective of your research method. So analysis will follow the general steps of collecting data and then coding this data, categorizing your data, and forming themes for this data. In the main methods of qualitative data analysis based on research method, there are content analysis, and in this form of analysis, it's a systematic process used to transform large amount of text or images into a highly concise and organized themes or concepts, and quantify and analyze the presence of relationship between them. And this is mainly focused on written document. The other form is the grounded analysis or grounded theory analysis. And in this form of research analysis, the researchers studies people experiences and the process how these experiences occur, and then generates a theory about the origin, or a theory that originating mainly from the collected data about how experience occurs. In the framework analysis, an advanced method, it consists of several stages. You will start with familiarization of yourself with the data, and then doing coding, themes formation, and then charting and interpretation of this data. The narrative analysis, this is usually analyzing data from written, spoken, or other sources concerning people's stories and experiences to answer the research questions. In the conversational analysis, there will be detailed micro-analysis of talk-in interaction. This is used to understand how people do things. The discourse analysis is a discussion analysis or communication analysis. It analyzes all the communication between the participant and the researcher within its social context. How to conduct qualitative data analysis? Your data can be conducted either manually or by using software, and this depends on the size of the data and the availability of software. But as the analysis of qualitative data is time-consuming and is very exhaustive, so most of the researchers are using software to analyze their data. If you choose to analyze your data by using a manual approach, then you read your data, go through it manually, line by line, code it, and categorize and find themes. You can use Microsoft Word or Excel spreadsheet, especially if you are not having specialized software and your data size is small. And software is used for large amount of data, And there are many forms of software that are helpful in analyzing the qualitative data, such as NVivo, Atlas GI. As I told you, qualitative data analysis is a time-consuming and exhaustive process, so researchers usually use computer-assisted qualitative data analysis software. There are many types with different functions. Some of them are free, but others are expensive and you have to buy them. But in general, uses in analysis of qualitative data is storing of your data, managing your data. Also, you can search your data, and of course it will help in the coding process of your data, developing and testing theory, and finally when you finish your findings, it will help in writing and reporting your results. Steps of qualitative data analysis. Here we are faced with a different and difficult situation in comparison to analysis of quantitative data, as we have no specific universal guidelines. These are only general steps that can be followed when analyzing your data, regardless of your research design. And these are grouped into main groups, like you have to organize your data and recognize ideas and concepts emerging from your data, and you have to ensure quality of your findings, and if you need any explanation for your finding. And any collected data should be transcribed very carefully, such as tape recorded interviews, focus group, any handwritten field notes, all should be transcribed. And you have to add all non-verbal cues such as pauses, laugh, and cries. And before you start the formal analysis, you have to familiarize yourself with your data, read, watch, and listen to your collected data, and you have to go through this process as many times as you can. At this step, write down comprehensive notes about the data and try to make notes on any general emerging ideas or concepts. Organize and arrange your data in such a way that you can easily find and recover them back. Example, you can give numbers or codes to each interview and interviewees. Names and personal information should be kept in a confidential way. And you have to consider or to make consideration to any sensitive issues. During your analysis of your data, you have to revisit your research question and objectives, and you have to identify if the questions are answered by the collected data. The next step is the most important step in qualitative data analysis, or is the main and major steps, and this is what is called coding, and sometimes it's called indexing. In this step, you have to form framework, you have to find concepts, any ideas, behavior, and assign labels to them. This step is going to be elaborated on more in a separate video. Finishing with your coding, you can then identify and assign and organize them into categories, which can later be also arranged into associated themes and patterns. You can classify also them in certain categories and certain patterns, and this is, as I have been telling you, is going to be elaborated on a separate video. Finish with your analysis, and before the steps of presenting your results or writing and reporting your results, you have to ensure quality of your findings, and you should ensure trustworthiness of your findings. And this is going to be elaborated on the coming slides. When finished with ensuring the credibility and trustworthiness of your data, now your data is ready to be presented, to be displayed, and you can write and report them. Finishing from our data analysis, we came to the last point before we will write or publish our results. We have to test quality or ensure quality in our qualitative research. To evaluate quality in qualitative research, the term trustworthiness is used instead of the term internal validity and reliability that are used in ensuring quality in quantitative research. And trustworthiness in qualitative research depends on many factors, including credibility, dependability, confirmability, transferability, and a well-structured data collection and analysis procedures, and last and not least, consideration of any ethical issues. These terms, credibility, transferability, dependability, and confirmability, are referred to as QDAS categories, and they are all used to ensure accuracy or quality, ensure that the quality of your research is matching the standards. Credibility, as have been discussed before, is to ensure accuracy of your research. So you have to use many strategies to make your audience convinced that your research is or your findings are accurate. Among these strategies is the prolonged engagement and the use of reflective commentary, and you have to describe your background, your qualification, your experience, so as to try to minimize or avoid bias that emerge from the issue of subjectivity in data analysis. The other part is what is called transferability, and this is the process by which the researchers is trying to convince audience or readers that the studied phenomena or experience can be applicable to him. So researchers use what is called thick description. In this strategy, the researcher should fully describe the phenomena or experience in its natural context so that the reader can apply this phenomena to him. The other part is what is called dependability, and dependability in qualitative research is equal to reliability and consistency in quantitative research. This means that the findings of the study can be repeated again if occurred within the same cohort or participant. The last part in what is called GUBA criteria or categories for confirmation or for establishing the quality of your qualitative research is what is called confirmability. And confirmability means that you should ensure that the results could be confirmed by other researchers. Thank you for your active listening. I hope you will enjoy our station and find it useful for you. Thank you very much.